Important to remember as the Reds head into action tomorrow night, they have seen postseason success in the past.
Certainly have. Some fans have great memories of Reds history, from the Big Red Machine to the 1990 wire-to-wire team. Let's take a look.
1970 was destined to be magical for the Reds. It was out with the old, Crosley Field closed, and in with the new. Sparky Anderson took over as manager for the Reds in a new ballpark. Johnny Bench was the MVP that year. The Reds made it all the way to the World Series, but came up short against the Orioles. The foundation was laid for the Big Red Machine.
In 1972, Joe Morgan joined the team. They made it to the series again, and again they lost. This time it was the Athletics beating the Reds in 7 games. The 75 season was when the Reds finally broke through. They won 108 games and beat the Red Sox for their first World Series title since 1940.
In 1976, it was more of the same. The Reds won more than 100 games again. The only thing that was different was the World Series opponent. They beat the Yankees in 4 games. In the 1980s, the Reds were just an average team that failed to make the playoffs.
In 1990, glory returned to the Queen City when the Reds went wire-to-wire and swept the Athletics in the World Series.
Well, you've certainly say it before, 15 years since the Reds have been to the playoffs.
And our Tanya O'Rourke is live at the Reds Pro Shop now. And you know, Tanya, it is Cincinnati, so...
Yeah, it is Cincinnati, so that means nothing's really changed in our fair city, right? Well, sometimes it does feel that way, especially when I'm standing in front of this giant World Series trophy from circa 1990. But you know, it is amazing when you think about how much has changed since the Reds were last in the postseason.
This was 1995. The Reds on top in their division, just like now. A city stoked.
15 years!
Just like now. But that's where the similarities seem to end.
Take, for example, where they'll play on Sunday. 15 years ago, Great American Ballpark didn't exist.
The Reds were still swinging in Riverfront. For that matter, there was no Paul Brown Stadium. The Banks project now coming out of the ground was just conjecture. Even how you got your Reds tickets has changed. Remember standing in those lines? The fountain on the square was there. Now it's here. Roxanne Qualls was the mayor. Today, she's the vice mayor. Some things don't seem to change. Clyde and Carol, Denny and Popo. The hair was darker, much darker, but they're still here. And what is that DJ's using? A typewriter? Yes, technology has advanced rapidly.
Programs $1.
We have changed how we live in so many ways. Even the guys calling the game have changed. Rest in peace, Joe. Life is just different these days, even in the Queen City, with a tiara now gracing our skyline. You know, they say change is good. And maybe, just maybe, change will bring a champion.
And the 2010 Central Division Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Wouldn't that be fantastic? Folks, where we are right here in the Pro Shop, I'm told by the ladies working here that this was the plaza level of Synergy Field or Riverfront Stadium. I still like to think of it as Riverfront Stadium. And think about this. While that 95 team had some great players on it, our Joey Votto was 12 at the time. Aroldis Chapman, the Cuban Missile, a mere first grader.